Anybody who has run an e-commerce site for any length of time is familiar with cart abandonment, the dropout that inevitably occurs when a user adds a product to a cart and even starts the checkout process but does not pay and finish their order. In this lesson, we will teach you how to counteract how users abandon their cart. By the end of this lesson, you will learn how to be able to optimize your checkout settings based on what you've learned so far about behavioral shopping. Just because a user gets past the shopping cart, there is no guarantee that they're going to convert. It is crucial that careful consideration is given to a post-click experience. 4 areas that need attention are removing distractions, providing positive reinforcement, creating a sense of positive progression, and continuously communicating during the delivery experience, which we will explore right now. There are good reasons why Shopify removes all unnecessary user interface elements by default once the user begins the checkout process. Consumers can easily be distracted at this crucial moment in the conversion funnel, so it is essential to focus them entirely on completing the process. It is tempting to use this opportunity to upsell additional items or bundle in other calls to action, such as newsletter signups. However, each of these elements adds another choice, thereby increasing the cognitive load and the likelihood that your users will abandon the process. Any screen element not directly associated with completing the conversion process increases the cognitive strain placed on the user. Individually, these additions have a minor impact, but collectively they add up, making it more likely that the users give up on the purchase. That is especially true when the targeted audience is already under pressure from other sources, such as workload or family distractions, or when there are more straightforward competitor websites only a click away. One powerful tool in encouraging users to complete the conversion process is positive reinforcement. As soon as a user clicks a call to action, such as a Buy Now button, try showing testimonials from happy customers alongside the checkout process. Another way might be to add copy reinforcing benefits of buying the product. This kind of reinforcement works for 2 reasons. First, the consistency principle states that people have a strong psychological need to be consistent with prior acts. In other words, if they are seen to commit to a process, they feel a need to follow it to its completion. By simply acknowledging the fact that your client has begun the process of checking out, they are more likely to complete it. This is typically a high-stress moment for users, especially when it comes to making a financial purchase. Remember, we learned that people are loss-averse. They feel the emotional impact of parting with a payment twice as much as they do the positive feeling associated with making a purchase. You will need to offset this loss bias by reassuring the user that they have made the right decision in purchasing. Fortunately, clients are more likely to complete a conversion process if they feel a sense of momentum. In other words, they are more likely to complete the process if they feel they are making positive progress towards the end goal. And here's a pro tip. A straightforward way of achieving this will be to include a progress bar that tells your customer where they are in the checkout process. Don't wait until they submit a form to validate it and tell them whether they've been successful. Instead, reassure them by providing positive feedback as they enter each field of a form, something that is fairly easy to do on Shopify thanks to Shopify's inline form validation. Also, give them a sense of how far through the process they have progressed and how much further they have. Even once the conversion process has been completed, there is still a danger that the user backs out. They may have unrealistic expectations around delivery or could simply change their mind. You can reduce the likelihood of this happening by communicating with them regularly during this vulnerable period. This kind of communication should provide positive reinforcement, but more importantly, a sense of control. Making a purchase creates anxiety. The natural response to anxiety is to gain control of the situation. You can create this sense of control by providing your clients with information about what is going on. That principle is clear to see if we read the comments associated with most Kickstarter campaigns. These campaigns require the consumer to wait a prolonged time for the delivery of a product, and that inevitably creates anxiety. The result is constant comments demanding updates about their order, either via email or social media, and the most asked question in e commerce is, "Where's my order? I placed this order on Monday and now we're Wednesday. I'd like to have an ETA. Where's my order?" If the seller provides constant, up to date, clear communication, then it will reduce the anxiety that the user feels. In your next chapter, we will focus on ensuring that the effectiveness of these techniques that you've just learned are maximized through testing and iteration. But first, here's a quiz, and then join us in our next chapter.